That is Panthers captain Alexander Barkov raising the cup for the first time in his career. But the Oilers a wrenching end, even as they fulfill the tradition of shaking hands with their winning opponents before leaving the ice in disappointment. CBC News Edmonton AM host and longtime sportscaster Mark Connolly is with us now. And Mark, the headline, unfortunately, disappointment.
Bitter disappointment. You know, I think that Ian, and I think most Canadian fans will know just how much Canadians love their team, whether it's the Oilers, it's the Canucks, the Leafs. People love their team, and they're with them right through this, and they suffer with the team. If they didn't care, it wouldn't matter as much. So it matters a lot to Edmonton fans, and they really thought the Oilers were going to do it. They thought they were going to win. After coming down from, 3 games down to win 3 in a row, winning 4 in a row is very tough against this tough Florida Panthers team. They were the best defensive team in the NHL this year. They had never lost in the playoffs when they led after going into the third period. But still, I think a lot of people believed, and they looked really good. It looked like the Oilers had a chance to do it, but they just couldn't pull it off. Maybe it was just one goal short.
And what do you think the impact is going to be, first of all, on your city of Edmonton, of this incredible run?
I think there's going to be a little bit of a hangover, first off, both literal and figurative, because we saw what the crowds were like tonight. But I think that people will regroup. I think that people really support the team. They feel like the players, they know the players. These are our boys, And I think that Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Stu Skinner, when they're around town in Edmonton, people are going to be patting them on the back and say, you guys did a great job, even though they're not going to feel like it. As they say in sports, there's winning, and then there's misery, and they feel misery, especially in professional sports, and they're not going to feel like that. But I think that what we saw was a great display of athleticism, of heart, of a band of brothers. I mean, this team is so close. They talked about it all the time. And there's a great quote from Earl Warren, who's a very famous jurist in the United States. He said, I go to the sports page for the accomplishments of man, while the disappointments of man are on the front page. So that's why you go to the sports, to see something that you love to see, that you see triumph, you see people struggling, you see people with epic battles. And we saw that. This game was an epic battle. The whole series was for the Oilers. They didn't come out on top this time, but I think Oiler fans are going to feel like they're going to have another chance.
Yeah, it seems weird maybe to say this tonight, but there's a lot to celebrate with this team with this season. And be interested to hear you early tomorrow morning on your radio show as you continue this theme of what this season meant and what next season will bring. Mark Connolly, thank you very much.
You bet. Thanks, Ian.
All right, let's go to Nancy Carlson, who spent the evening in the Ice District with fans. And Nancy, I remember on Friday when you and I talked at this point in the evening, still a party going on behind you. Not exactly the same thing tonight.
No, I would not describe this as a party atmosphere tonight, Ian. Let me tell you, it's interesting hearing what Mark said when you're talking about, the highs and the lows of a team and how they come together. What I have found so amazing about this series with the Oilers are the fans and how they have very much reflected that attitude, that excitement, that coming together that we've seen on the ice. They have reflected that. And, the team has had a lot of character. The fans have a lot of characters. And one of those characters has not lost any hope yet. Captain Felton, okay, how are you feeling tonight?
I mean, obviously I'm sad, but you know what? I'm just so proud of these guys. We were 2-9-1, we were 0-3, and we dragged ourselves back from the dead. How can you not be proud of them?
So, obviously it has been a roller coaster ride. What is it going to be like for the next few months building up to the next team? Like, how are you going to prepare for next year?
Well, I mean, it's not like 06. Hopefully, Chris Pronger doesn't leave right after that. But I trust in this team. It'll be exciting. I assume we'll have a new GM. Well, I mean, Ken Holland's his contract's up, right? So I'm curious to see what happens. But I honestly feel Connor and Leon had such a taste. They're not leaving. So it's hope.
I like that, and that is absolutely what so many fans have had. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate that. Yeah, just this energy, right? So many fans remember what happened in '06, and of course they wanted a different outcome tonight. But again, having that to compare it to, let's just hope it doesn't take another however many years until we see this kind of run again here for the Edmonton Oilers.
It won't, because you've already booked guests for next year in the Ice District. We heard that a little bit earlier on in our broadcast. Nancy Carlson, fantastic job. Thank you very much for
I like to
taking
be
us
prepared.
through Friday night. Absolutely, and again tonight. Let's now go down to Sunrise, Florida, and Samson is there, who's been catching Oilers fans leaving the game. Sam.
Yeah, it's a very torn Sunrise, Florida at the moment. Don't know if you can hear, but of course there's some cheering going on. This is Panther territory. They won at home. This is the first Stanley Cup in franchise history.
And
so we're
where do I
hearing
go next?
a lot of excitement and a lot of very disappointed people. I think I saw one guy crying, actually. Here's what some of the Oilers fans told us.
That's it. Oh my God. I am so proud of our boys. We might have lost, but I am so proud. I've been there for 5 playoff wins, and this is our one loss, but still so proud.
Pretty good record.
It is.
What keeps you holding on to the team?
They're the Oilers. They're the best.
All of the Oilers fans stayed right till the end, which I think is really cool. Everybody stayed and watched the cup come out, stayed for McDavid's award and everything, which I thought was cool, but it is what it is.
Tell you right now, I'm proud of the team and I'm proud of the fans from Canada that came out, traveled all the way to Florida to cheer on their team.
Those guys there are Winnipeg Jets fans. They're from Manitoba, but they came all the way down here. They have to leave in a few hours, actually. Their flight leaves pretty soon. That's kind of it gives you an idea of just how loyal these Edmonton fans are, and fans of other NHL teams who are Canadian, who came down to Sunrise, Florida to cheer for what they are calling Canada's team. And I don't know if you could see, there were a lot of different Oilers fans just kind of hanging around, I think really trying to grasp the moment, because we knew either way that we were going to see history tonight. Panthers won. It's the first Stanley Cup in their franchise history. And then, of course, flip side, we could have seen a cup come back across the border to Canada, which we did not see. And I'll tell you, though, people are loyal to the Oil. I think Nancy said they're building. They're building. Look, they've been saying that for years, and we are hearing it here tonight. Edmonton fans believe that this team can make a comeback next year. Of course, we'll see. All I know is that there are some very tired fans heading to the airport tomorrow morning, ready to make that 4,000-kilometer flight trip back to Edmonton.
Fantastic work tonight, Sam. Thank you very much. Sam Samson in Sunrise, Florida. For the fans, for many of the fans, this loss is crushing. But for the Oilers themselves, carrying the weight of the whole season even more so. Here's what Captain Connor McDavid had to say just moments ago.
We fought an uphill climb for months and months and months, and just sucks.
To come back from 3-0 to get to this point, is there any kind of, not solace, but do you take a lot of pride in being able to make this a series when it looked like you guys were dominating?
Yeah. It goes back to the character of the group that we showed all year long. We showed all year long that we could fight back, even in the most dire situations. And obviously tough to be down 3, and tough to string 4 in a row against a good team like that. But we were right there.
Kind of your thoughts on winning the Conn Smythe?
Obviously, I guess an honor with the names on that trophy, but yeah.
Connor McDavid setting a record for most assists in a Stanley Cup playoff, a record that had been held by Wayne Gretzky, also the winner of the Conn Smythe Trophy for playoff MVP. But as you could see and hear, no consolation for him to be on the team that did not win the Stanley Cup. Sam and Sue Skinner are the parents of the Oilers goaltender, Stuart Skinner, and I spoke to them just moments after the game ended.
To just be in the Stanley Cup playoffs is an honor and a privilege, and something you'll never forget. There's so many hockey players over the years that have never been to a playoff game. So for me, it was a real privilege and honor to see the boys there. And I mean, we're Oilers fans to the core, so we're just proud of all of them. And they played hard, and the bounces sometimes go your way, sometimes they don't. Yeah, it's it's not fun to lose, obviously, but it was a great year as far as I'm concerned, and proud of the boys.
Let me just say something that I'm sure a lot of Edmonton Oilers fans would like me to say to you. It's certainly the way I feel. Your son seems like a remarkable guy. I've never met him, but I've watched him speak after games, after wins, after losses, after he was pulled from the net, and after he has been the star of the game. And I think to myself, what tremendous character he's shown, a very easy guy to cheer for. And Sue, I can't imagine what it's like to be the parent of an NHL goaltender playing for his hometown team in the Stanley Cup final. There must have been times, Sue, when it was difficult to see what your son was going through.
Yeah. You can see the disappointment on his face tonight, and you could see the disappointment on all the players. And I don't know. I guess as a mom, you kind of see that more than the win or the loss. You see the emotion on their faces. But they did well. They did well. They've got nothing to be ashamed of. They played well. They worked hard. I don't know. I'm just proud of them.
I've seen parents of minor league or minor hockey players who have been like more angry, I guess, or whatever, like in the drive back from a game saying, I can't believe my son's team just lost. You guys seem so philosophical about it. Maybe that says a lot about why your son seems so philosophical about the ups and downs of being a goalie. Sam, have you guys had a chance to speak to your son yet? And if not, what will you say to him when you do get in touch with him?
No, we haven't had a chance, but definitely, we're going to tell him the same thing. We're just proud of him. What an amazing experience he had there, all the lessons he learned, all the emotions that he would have gone through, at 25 years old, with with LA, with Vancouver, with Dallas, and now going to the 7th game here after being 3 down. All of those emotions, all of those things that he would have learned are now part of his makeup, part of his character. And it'll only make him stronger. But, for Sue and I here at the house, sometimes every one of these games was stressful excitement. So Sue would pass out and I'd go over clear and she'd come back, and then I'd go down and clear. But at the end of the game, we saw what the score was, so everything's okay.
Your son is a remarkable goalie. He's a remarkable person. And hearing from you just minutes after the end of that game, I think I can understand what makes him so remarkable. Sue and Sam Skinner, the parents of Oilers goalie Stuart Skinner, thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you so much. Go Oilers.